Ms. Michelle?
Good evening, council. I'll start with the chamber. And, you know, we're like everybody else. We're starting this new year and with all the unknowns of COVID still looming. So we've had to change things around a little bit.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Our legislative luncheon, we've moved that to a virtual format, given everything that's going on. So that is scheduled for tomorrow, January 6th at 11:30. I hope that y'all can join us for that. The Toombs Montgomery Youth Leadership Professional Development Day will go on January 7th. We do have a ribbon cutting scheduled in January, but that's up in the air right now, so I did not put that date on this. We'll let you know once that's finalized. Our chamber board meeting is January 26th at 8 a.m. And as far as the Development Authority goes, our next board meeting is Thursday, December 7th at noon. We're still working through all the projects we were dealing with at the end of last year. I don't really have any updates for you right now. They're just kind of going through their own due diligence issues. The authority has engaged Carl Vinson Institute of Government to assist with facilitating and documenting a Toombs County Workforce Strategy Project. So that is being sponsored by the Toombs County Development Authority, Chicken of the Sea, Dot Foods, Georgia Power, Meadows Health, Plant Hatch, and Train Technologies. So we hope to kick that project off in February 2021. And Mayor, I'm going to call you tomorrow if you're going to be around. I'd love for you to be on the steering committee for that project.
But,
Did you say the next board meeting is December 17th?
Actually, I did say that.
Thanks for
But
the advance notice.
yes, it will be third Thursday in January, whatever that date is.
you got a year to get ready for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks. Well, go on to our, city manager, well, Main Street report. You have, Daniels?
She said there was nothing to report. They did not meet in December.
Okay, all right. Go on to your report then, Jason.
The department report is in your agenda packet. We do have some dates we need to announce. Mayor's going to call a work session on June the 26th for the specific purpose of discussing the water rate study.
January.
January 26th. What did I say?
June.
June.
We are on a roll, Jason. We don't know what day. it is.
January the 26th at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. The council will be attending a training retreat at Lake Lanier, January the 29th through the 31st. And then our next regular council meeting will be February the 2nd.
Everybody all right with those dates? Okay, Jason.
All right. We have a few action items, Mayor. The first action item is a request from AEM Imports LLC to be granted an alcohol beverage license for wholesale. I'm assuming that Mr. Elvis did not make it. He was going to try to make it. He told me that he was going to try to answer some of the questions that we had, but he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get out of the VAs in time. So I think Mark knows this project fairly well. I know what's on the application itself. Wesley has done all the due diligence on the application, other than the zoning requirements. And the zoning requirements are in the affidavit. If y'all would like to discuss it or take action, or
You say zoning, or is it, we need to change the zoning?
no, sir. We do a zoning check to verify that the zoning is correct, verify that there's sufficient distance from any churches, schools, alcohol rehabilitation centers, and something else. I can't remember what the other thing
We'll
is.
have an opportunity to discuss it in the workshop.
No, hold on. They have come to us, want to go ahead and get this, business going, council, and I think we need to really look at it instead of just tabling it for a work session. I think we need to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, we need to let them, I consider us a business-friendly community. When we got somebody coming to us with a,
So we're gonna waive it from now on to be business friendly.
wait, we didn't have a work session in December. Somebody comes to apply for a alcohol license, if Wesley does the due diligence and they come out crystal clear, come out clean, there's no reason we should not get
Well, I
them.
do have some questions that I would normally talk about at the work session. Can we take them up now?
Of course, there's no problem with that.
Does they plan on, is the warehouse gonna have any local employees, local management?
Yeah, I don't get wrong.
I mean, you're the landlord, right?
So if I can speak.
Come up to the podium if you would.
All right, good deal.
John, can you still hear?
Yeah, I got you. I'm in on it.
Okay, all right.
Okay, good deal. First of all, I'm Mark Munter. I know a lot of you, and there's a few of you I do not know. But in the last number of months, I've made some investments to our community to help improve our community. And the warehouse that AME Imports is wanting to store their product is the old Durden Chevrolet property there next to Silverwares, which is that building had gone into foreclosure, was going into disrepair. I purchased the building. I've renovated the building, and that building is going to be a storage facility. I have commercial storage on one side for places like AME Imports, and then I put in storage units for residential people or individuals out front, and then I also do have office space that is being leased in the front offices. I made a substantial investment in our community to be able to improve our area. And if you look across the street at Toombs Outdoors and what we've been able to do with that property. So AME Imports, I know Mr. Mike and Mr. Elvis through Mr. Mike's wife, worked with my father-in-law at Fort Stewart. She is currently an FBI agent. She has been in Texas and now just been transferred to Washington, D.C.
Mike is the.
Mike is the owner of AME Imports. Mr. Ellis is the managing.
Where does he live?
They actually live in Washington.
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C., that's correct. Mr. Ellis lives in Richmond Hill. And I'm the registered agent to be able to basically manage the product when it's here. The product is basically being brought in at the ports. It will be delivered to our facility here. It may stay there a week. It may stay there 2 days. And then it will be loaded back onto a truck and taken to a bottling facility. Basically we're just housing that product under lock and key, under surveillance with camera systems. So it's all going to be locked up. And of course, I'm there at that property every day to be sure that everything is like it's supposed to be. But really and truly, whether it's a box of rocks or whether it's, rum, which is basically what this is going to be, which is going to be in large vats. It's not going to have spigots on them. Not going to be selling it out the back door or anything like that. But, they contacted me. Listen, I advertise my facility, my businesses through social media. My mother-in-law shared it. They found out about it, and they were in Houston, Texas. And they called and contacted me and said, hey, tell me about your warehouse facility and lines. We're looking for somewhere halfway in between the ports and our bottling facility. And their bottling facility is in Richland, Georgia. And if you've never had a chance to go to Richland, Georgia makes up about as big as our downtown sectional lines, except until several years ago, Richland was about to dry up. And a Danish gentleman had been over to the United States for the Olympic Games, and he found a old sugarcane farm in Richland. and he loved the area, and he bought the farm, started farming sugarcane, and now Richland is a thriving community because several city blocks now comprise Richland Run, and it is a wonderful tour to go on. And Mike, who owns AME Imports, works with Richland Run to bring his product to our area. And Richland is in southwest Georgia, but they also have a distillery in Brunswick. So as they wanted to kind of expand their operations, so they have a distillery in Brunswick, and they also have one in Richland. Richland is the home base, but literally they took that small community of Richland, and what was dried up. They took all the old buildings and they have created the distillery, and it is quite a sight to go and visit and see. As you tour those old buildings, everything's been restored, and Richland has really flourished because of it. Now, I had talked with Mike and his pursuits and said, Mike, what are your plans? He said, well, right now, he said, we just need warehouse space to store it. He said, because you get into a whole different ball game when you want to start bottling your own stuff. He said, we'd have to get more licenses. And I asked him, I said, would you ever think that would be an opportunity to have a bottling facility? And he said, well, maybe down the road. He said, but right now, he said, we're starting here. And I said, well, if you ever need that space, I said, Lyons is where you need to be. So.
Now, you have somebody that comes there that's got a key to the building, and they open it up and they unload it and they lock it back, and then somebody else.
So Mr. Elvis will have a key, and then I will have a key. He has his own secured storage area. It's about 500 square feet inside this warehouse. That he will have a key to, and I will have a key to, as the managing agent and as the landlord. So
what is the fee associated with this?
$300.
$300 for liquor?
Yeah.
So again, he's not selling the liquor here. All he's doing is paying me to store his product.
Run the barrel.
From where?
Hadn't involved yet.
So
Where's the rum coming from?
the rum will come from the ports. It's a really neat.
It got on a boat somewhere.
Right, I'm saying, it comes from Liberia, it comes from West Africa. It's a really neat story. I'd encourage you to go to sangarrum.com, Sangar, and it tells you the story of Mike. Mike's father was from West Africa, and he went to see where his father grew up, and he noticed that the people of West Africa, they've been in a civil war, and they had these farms and sugarcane, and they're just very, very poor people. And Mike has helped develop an economic plan for that area of West Africa to be able to take the crops that they grow and to economically boost their area by selling the rum that they make from the sugarcane and the mango.
I didn't get on that. What did you say, Sangar?
Sangar, Sangar, Sangar rum. And so it's made there, put on a boat, it's shipped to the ports here, and then Richland Rum. And I would encourage you to go to that website. It's actually got a really good tour on there. I encourage you to go to Richland Rum, and you can see what they do. But it is a very, very fine, well, both of those products, Sangar rum and Richland rum, are a very, very fine rum. It's not your typical $5.99 rum. I promise you that.
Is that the brand they sell around, like say our area, Richland Rum?
Richland rum it's here
Somewhere
local.
close to Bacardi.
Do what?
Somewhere close to Bacardi.
I haven't bought Bacardi in a long time, but I think you can buy it for about $20 a bottle. A bottle of Richland rum is going to cost you about $80 to $90 a bottle. So it's not your.
It's not going to a.
It's very, very smooth.
People going to buy it there.
So but again, we're just a storage facility, and this is an opportunity again for us to bring someone who not familiar with lines, but through the advertising and marketing we've been able to done, it's opened the door for possible business opportunities down the road. Right now, we're just storing product.
500 square foot ain't very big.
Right, these-
They must not be bringing in very much.
Well, these vats come in, not these big 500 gallon.
Give me a headache.
Yeah, they come in these big vats, and I asked the first,
Big bag, 500 square feet ain't very big, you know.
but we're talking about 8 or 9. I asked how many pallets of this stuff. We're talking about 8 or 9 pallets is all that would come in at the time.
That's about all. That big area.
That's right, and they can be 2 stacked. So in the area that we've got, we can put about 16 pallets or 16 vats, is what we can put in there. So, but apparently there's a lot of room in even 8 vats. So.
I know it's got some good potential for business.
Absolutely.
Coming on in, so.
Yeah.
Any questions? I would like to propose a motion to accept their business, their license application.
I still have a question.
Well, that's
This
why I'm
guy
asking
lives
the question.
if this guy lives in Richmond Hills, and he's managing it, you say he's coming unloaded?
He will, and here's the thing, and I've
I can't
learned,
figure all this out.
I've learned a little bit about this stuff. When you're shipping alcohol of any sort, you know, there has to be you might say a chain of, I guess, a handling.
Custody.
Chain of custody.
Chain of custody, thank you. And
That was John, not
so,
me.
Mr. Elvis, who is the manager, and who is also Mike's father-in-law, he will be at the ports, watch it be loaded, bring it to lines, watch it being unloaded. I will help unload that. I am providing forklift services to be able to help unload that stuff and put it in the building. Put it under lock and key. Then when they get ready to come pick it up to take it to be bottled, we'll load it up, take it to be bottled. So I will be a part of that process, because I provide the forklift services as part of my business plan.
Yeah, I know that all liquor is regulated, licensed by the state, and probably the federal government and everything. I don't know anything about the wholesale distribution of runs. How do we know that what they're doing is on the up and up and bootlegging operation?
That's where the state thing, and you know, it just like
But I mean, does he?
T-Birds over here. How do we know they're doing it right? You know,
Well,
because there's licenses.
They're bootlegging, they don't come from a license.
well, I mean, they're getting a license from us, but if we've seen the state license, is it included?
They
in
don't
their
have to get one.
Yes, they do have to get a state license, but they have to
They
go
got to
through the
get
city. They
one.
gotta get one from the city before they get the state.
To have a state license, you have to have a local license. We're the primary, the state issues the license after we do.
Okay.
We do all the due diligence.
It's
We
that way.
do the due diligence.
Right.
I don't know what we're doing.
I have a question. Is it gonna be wholesale or is it just gonna be a regular business license? Since they're not actually selling to local people, they're like out of the store.
They're applying right now for a alcohol wholesale license.
Wholesale and distribution of the same license. So it's
They're not applying for a license
Retail.
that T-Birds has. They're not a retail license.
Just don't know how-
Package is the other word. They're not applying for package.
Right, okay.
I just, like I say, if somebody regulates them in a bigger way than we would, and I hate the state to say, well, she said, all right, so we're gonna do it. We don't do it.
Absolutely. Look, you don't come into the ports.
Exactly.
Yeah. I promise you, they're being regulated. You're not just gonna walk into the ports with that much.
You don't unload that stuff.
No. Again, all All I'm asking is approval for them so they can store their product in my warehouse. I mean, again, I'm investing in this community. Look, I don't even like to look at the numbers, at the amount of money that I've invested in this community, because if you look at them too long, it gets kind of scary. But I have a lot of pride in our community, and I know this family. They're a wonderful family, and who are working hard, and they just need a place to store their product.
It's no reflection on you, Mark. I don't know that we've ever issued a liquor wholesale license in the city limits, not of it. So it's just a
So
matter
we
of
can,
original impression. And, you know, if, I'd feel better if I had your assurances that once they get the state license, that they make a copy available to us. I just want to make sure it's on the up and up, but we've never, I don't know that we've ever
You
done
don't
that.
trust anybody.
Well, I do have a little
You can.
diligence that I was.
Look at the votes today,
of this
vote
community.
sheet went, who
I'm
knows?
sure,
That's why they put me on this council.
I'm sure Mr. Moffett will be glad to give us a copy of the state license.
we'll provide whatever licenses
Y'all go ahead.
That's right.
that y'all need.
Does anybody have any more questions for Mr. Moffett?
So I got.
You building a house out in the
Or no?
So
Are we
You
gonna
building
be
a house out
off
in the county?
this
am I building a house in the
$300?
county? That's it.
That's
Make
it?
so.
That's all we get, $300 for the license, no revenue, no.
It's just a wholesaler license right now.
I don't know.
But
They can come through.
Hopefully, we got our foot in the door with them, but they'll make
They
any
ain't building
money.
them bottom.
You don't know that.
Wrong.
We never thought we'd have a wholesaler coming here selling, you know, use our county, but we are, so that's how we get our foot in the door. That's right. Any questions? Like I said, I'd like to make a motion if I have somebody to,
You can't make a motion.
I'm not making a motion.
He's encouraging someone too.
Exactly. I want to,
Call.
I'll make the motion.
all right, we got a motion from, Councilman Moore to accept the, application. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Councilwoman Eason. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I've got three, ayes, but I didn't hear.
I don't care.
Aye.
That's a no vote.
They voted no.
That's a
No, it's not just not voting, I'm saying.
You're abstaining. Councilman Rears?
Since he's got a majority, I'm gonna abstain too.
Okay, we got, three, ayes and two abstentions, so it, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. We appreciate you coming tonight, and we thank you for, the business coming here.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
We'll move forward.
The next action item we've got is to approve a language access plan for our 2020 CDBG. That is the drainage and street improvements on the east side of town. This is one of our special conditions for us to move forward with the project. The council needs to take action on approving this language access plan.
All right, do we have any, Jason, what exactly, oh, this
This
is.
just, yes, sir. It just says that,
Okay.
yeah, this is our 2020 CDBG. This just says that we will provide information in other languages, that we do not discriminate to contractors that may speak in other languages. It's only a 3-page document.
Right, but this is for the CDBG, you know, that we were just awarded on the east side of lines. Any more questions? Not, do I have a motion that we accept? So moved. Got a motion from Councilman Hartley, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Toole, all in favor?
Aye.
Councilman Moore?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
I need a question.
Sure.
Mayor, normally when we do something like this, it's like in a resolution or something, it's accepting a plan like that. Is that a normal way? Is that okay?
I believe so. Hugh, our grant writer with the Heart of Georgia, He just told me he wrote the action plan. I mean, I could create a-
Action plan, I'm just-
yeah, I could
that's not
create a
the plan that we
resolution
approved,
for it.
I just want to make sure it was gonna be okay when that.
Yeah, he looked at it. I mean, I could write a resolution for it.
We won't have a document that's been signed that to show these people that we're done with an action on this. I go to the minutes.
The minutes will prove that.
Okay, that's all right. That was just a technical question.
Yeah.
Okay, any objections? Not, motion passes, thank you. Jason?
The next item on the agenda is a resolution setting the 2021 qualifying fees for candidates seeking election to certain offices. Mayor, there is a typo in this resolution. This resolution states, whereas pursuant to OCGA 21-131, the governing authority of the city of Lyons is required to set qualifying fees for candidates seeking election to certain offices. Whereas qualifying dates will be the week of August 16th through August 20th, 21, and qualifying fees will be taken at the Lyons Voters Registration Office located at 125 West Lincoln Avenue. Applications and fees available. That's funny wording. Fees available between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following qualifying fees are established for the offices set forth below. Council Ward 1 is $108. Council Ward 2 is $108. And Council Ward 4 is the typo that those numbers were transversed, and it's also 108.
I say we leave it where you
I think we
got
need to
it.
do like this.
Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, I appreciate it.
They're trying to make you pay for it, John.
I was fitting to say, here, I'll buy everybody some lunch with the extra too.
Section of town.
See what happens when you don't show up for,
Yeah, I know Rick and Larry's got something to do with it. You know, I said, they walked right in there and said, hey, that thing needs to be bumped up a little bit.
I just figure you're gonna go to the church and get yours anyway.
So if the motion could carry a correction to that, I'd appreciate it.
Jason, you had told me September 3rd, that's the day of the election or what?
The election is on,
That's the original date.
Well,
I'm sorry.
You sent me a text.
Yes,
September 3rd.
we found out that a lot of the municipalities are moving their qualifying dates up a couple of weeks to give the election board some additional time because of the new systems. If those dates are okay with y'all, that keeps all of the qualifying in 1 month. Originally, well, we look back and it kind of moves around.
Yeah, it does.
So y'all can set the dates and you can set the fees, and you can also go down to 3 days if you'd rather it be 3 days. Y'all can just put that in motion. That's 5 days in the middle of, September kind of. It keeps everything in 1 month. I mean, in August, it keeps everything in 1 month.
I think we need to leave it that week's time anyway.
Okay.
Time to be able to get in.
It's completely up to you guys.
Everybody all right with August 16th through the 20th?
Move to approve the resolution.
And, okay, got a motion, to approve the resolution from Councilman Griggers. We'll have a second. Second from Councilwoman Easton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank y'all. All right.
We do have 3 resolutions. The first resolution is a resolution of the City of Lyons through the council to authorize the mayor to establish a franchise fee acceptable to holders of cable and video franchise issued by the state of Georgia. We recently went through an audit of the cable companies, the cable and video companies that use our right of ways to carry their signals. And during that audit, just so for the new member of the council, we contract with the Georgia Municipal Association. They have a company that audits our power, our electrical, gas, and cable and telephone. And they do it in consecutive years. This year it was the time to do cable and video. And through that audit, he could not find where this body had ever adopted the state minimum. The state minimum is 5%. He suggested very emphatically that we do that just to keep things on the up and up. It's a very short resolution that pretty much just authorizes the city to collect that 5% minimum amount. That's the maximum amount. I'm sorry, 5% maximum amount. I said maximum. Yes, sir.
But it is something that we do need to get back in right, so we're up to date with that. Do I have a motion, we accept this resolution? Got a motion from Councilman Toole, we'll have a second. Second from Councilman Griggers. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The audit,
Cross our fingers, hope they don't ask for a refund, because they were not authorized to do it.
the audit went well. We only found a few that were not paid, and we got those corrected. Mayor, I'm going to flip flop these next two resolutions because they make better sense in reverse order.
All right.
We're going to go to resolution number 3, which is to authorize membership in the Georgia Municipal Association Workman's Compensation Self-Insurance Fund, to direct the mayor to execute necessary documents to enroll city in said fund, subscribe to the interstate agreement and bylaws of said fund for the purposes. As you know, every year we go out to the market for workman's comp, health insurance, and liability. This year we went to the market, and our best offer was through the Georgia Municipal Association's Workman's Comp program. To be a member of that program, since it is a pooled fund, you as the body have to resolve to be a member of that self-insurance fund. This resolution has 3 sections in it, and they all 3 just authorize the mayor to execute those documents to be members of that fund.
I do have a question, Mayor.
Sure.
You switching the order took away my opportunity to ask this at the appropriate time, but we're contemplating adding the volunteer firemen to this workman's compensation program. Does this bid of 62,000 include them?
Yes, we added that. The reason the pool, the GMA pool is a little different. Some municipalities do their fireman's fund under a different workman's comp. They also do, some cities have volunteer police, and some cities have other volunteer organizations. But the GMA pool will allow you to put all of that in your one workman's comp fund. However, you do have to pass a separate resolution to include yourself, volunteer fire, volunteer police, and volunteers, certified volunteer police.
Excellent deal. We should censure the manager for not telling us about it.
Why would we need work?
Because they have a law. That law requires you to have workman's comp. Yeah, so
We only work 2 days a week. Here in the month.
You talking about as far as, counseling?
It would protect you if you're on a retreat, if you're.
We ain't got that yet. We ain't got that yet. Let's get through the first one first, then you can talk about the next.
I don't have any problem with doing it for firemen.
Well, that's the next resolution. We can talk about that next.
Jason, what's with the difference of this approval? What did we budget this year for workman's comp?
We budgeted 90,000. So we'll do a budget amendment after our training retreat, and because you guys have still got to look at some capital issues when we get back. So once we get back, we'll do some budget adjustments and make those changes that are necessary.
All right, I'm good.
John, there's your extra money for your, qualifying fee.
Qualifying, well, I thought my qualifying extra was gonna go towards workman's comp.
All right. If there's not any more questions, do I have a motion we accept, the GMA, workers' compensation fund?
I'll move.
Got a motion from Councilman Griggers. Do I have a second?
Before you vote, Mayor, let me say this to give credit where credit is due. The last year, I think we had a really good year in workman's comp. I think our employees are doing a much better job of safety precautions and making sure that the work areas are safe. We've done a lot of different things to make sure that we're keeping our employees safe. So that's also one of the, even our last year's, the company that quoted us last year, if you notice, their quote this year was less. So our history, what do they call it? Not history. I guess our history is much better now.
All right, I've had a motion from Councilman Griggers, second from Councilman Toole. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll go to number 2, Jason.
Now, the resolution number 2 is a resolution to add volunteer firemen, firefighters, volunteer police officers, which we have none, and elected officials to the workman's compensation benefit pool.
Okay, any questions on that?
Yeah, what is a certified volunteer police officer?
That's kind of what I used to do when I worked down there part-time. they would carry workman's comp on me, but they would not carry any other insurance just in case I got hurt in the line of duty, as far as working as a part-time police officer.
But they're paid.
Yeah, I mean, you're paid as a part-time police officer.
We don't have, if you know of anybody that would like to volunteer to be a police officer, send them our way.
The only thing I can think
I'm
of,
just curious.
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
only thing I can think of would be if it's an auxiliary officer. There's a difference between an auxiliary officer and a reserve officer. An auxiliary officer is someone that volunteers with the department, but they're not certified. They don't have arrest powers, but they come and do events and park cars or whatever. And that would be the only thing that I can.
So have you ever have you ever used
A certified volunteer.
I'll give you an example. You remember when Margaret used to do the traffic at the schools for us? I don't know if you remember that, Rick, but Margaret used to do our school traffic at the schools, and she was paid out of the police budget, but she was not a certified officer, but she was still covered under workman's comp.
She wasn't volunteering.
She wasn't volunteer, she was getting paid.
That's true.
Yeah, that's the wording, the volunteer is.
Well, who put the word
Well,
volunteer?
Well, volunteer firemen get paid too.
Did we
Yeah.
put the
We
word?
pay them for
I've never heard of it.
I was fitting to say that.
We don't have any, so
We're
I
not worried
don't,
about
we
it.
ain't worried about it.
The
Do we have to have it?
volunteer firemen.
Our volunteers, they sign a pay-per-call contract, so, I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, they would be paid as well. But both Tom, our city attorney, and Stan, who is getting our workman's comp set up, said that if we wanted to cover our firefighters,
I thought they were already covered under something.
under Key Risk, last year's, the company that has us currently, they are covered under that policy. We're moving to the GMA pool, which is set up completely different than a standard.
Because they've always been covered ever since I've been on the council.
Yes, sir,
We're
they
not
are.
doing anything new.
I'm sorry.
We're not doing anything new here.
We're moving to a
I
pool.
mean, in terms of who's covered, we're not adding anybody.
Well, you're adding names to it.
Correct. We're not, we always covered our volunteer firefighters, and we always covered our elected officials.
I never knew that.
In our Key Risk policy and in the policies before
I'm
that,
gonna get workers' comp.
when we moved, do what?
So if
We
I
all know we voted on
I
it.
get workers' comp.
You were always covered under our workman's comp policy. You have always been.
Well, my knees hurt.
But GMA is just a different animal because it's a pooled program where all the cities pool together to cover the workman's comp. And the way they have it set up, you can either cover or not cover, but you have to choose. You can't abstain and say, y'all just do what you want to do. You have to say, yeah, I'm doing it, or no, I'm not.
Michelle, this is what happens when we don't have a workshop.
Correct.
Watch us make sausage.
Do I have a motion to accept?
That's the way it's been, I accept.
And we're not adding anybody to the policy.
I make the motion, in other words.
Got a motion for Councilman Tool, do I have a second?
Second.
Second for Councilman Eastman. All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you. Jason,
That's all I have, Mayor.
all you got. All right, we open public comments. Anybody want to address council? Council, anybody got anything they want to add?
How's our plant, is it operating?
Yes, sir. Both plants are operating. The east plant will go down for about a week and a half, starting Tuesday. And we'll transfer flow to the north plant while they make the repairs to aeration tubes, in the aeration basins. And then it'll come right back on.
Repair.
The aeration tubes, when they were installed, they had a little bit of a lean to them, and it didn't get caught until they started putting air to it. So they modified the ones at the north plant to correct the problem, made sure that it worked, and now they're gonna go back and make that same modification at the east plant.
It's still part of the original contract.
Yes, sir.
Are we under budget or how did it turn out?
We're getting our final pay request in. I'll give you that review, and I should have that report for you while we're in Lake Lanier.
So you don't know.
So we can
whether
get
we're
you-
under or over.
I believe we're under budget. I think we've done very, very well.
Last we looked, we were under.
We were, but I don't want to speak to it until we've had a chance to audit the numbers completely.
And under the time frame too.
Yes, sir, really, because the plan was to be back up and running by the end of the year,
I think it was a brilliant idea. to connect
we were.
the plants.
Anybody else got anything they want to add? I would like to say, I think it's, kudos to our employees, like to recognize Lynn, Wesley, Jason, for this past year. We've had a lot going on. We've had a lot of unknowns with this COVID pandemic, having to shut down City Hall twice during the year. And, I feel like things went very well, even in the city. We, no major problems. We've had a lot going on, with our wastewater treatment plants being done. We've got a lot going to be going on this year too. We've got 3 grants that we're going to be doing, this year, and we got businesses coming in. Mark Montfort, thank you for this, for AMI, working with that. We've got other businesses coming in. We got a new business coming in the old, Toombs Manufacturing Building. Things look good. Let's just keep it going. But I want to thank Lynn, Jason, Wesley, for what y'all did. Took a lot, because I know we've been shorthanded, a lot of the times with this COVID and everything. And, y'all did yeoman's work. I thank y'all.
Thank you.
And it shows with the city too, for what we're doing. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Nobody got anything to add? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.